Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Wednesday, December 5th, 2012. Big problems with Boeing's 787 Dreamliner. Yesterday afternoon, a flight from Houston to Newark, a United Airlines flight, was diverted to New Orleans because of apparently electrical problems. When the plane landed in New Orleans safely, it was greeted by a fleet of fire engines. There were 174 people on board and 10 crew members. And then later in the day, the Federal Aviation Administration ordered the urgent inspection of 787s for possible fuel line defects. According to the FAA, 787s are to be inspected to be sure that fuel line connectors are properly installed. Bloomberg is reporting this morning that the order was issued after fuel leaks had to be fixed on two planes, one from Japan Airlines and the other one from All Nippon Airways. In its directive, the FAA says the fuel line flaws could lead to planes running out of fuel, engines shutting down or losing power, or leaks on hot engine parts that could cause fires. The airworthiness directive went on to say that the matter was so pressing, there was no time to wait for the customary public comment. Wow. Well, in Egypt this morning, President Mohamed Morsi is back at work at the presidential palace in the northern Cairo district of Heliopolis. He had to leave the palace yesterday in a scene of pandemonium as tens of thousands of protesters protesting against his edicts, which have recently assumed presidential authority to the exclusion of the judiciary, forced him to evacuate. The protesters were met with bands of policemen firing tear gas at them. Huge raucous fights arose, and for a while it looked as if the protesters were going to breach the palace gates. Even today, the president had to enter an entrance in the back of the palace in order to avoid being seen. In reinsurance news, a friend of ours, Charlie Fry, has been appointed by the UK-listed insurer Nove as Chief Financial Officer. He's going to take the job up no later than Q2 2013. Charlie Fry had been Chief Operating Officer for Guy Carpenter. Prior to that, he was the CFO for Aon Benfield. Here's a big one. The European Union announced this morning the biggest ever cartel fine of about 1.96 billion US on 7 companies accused and apparently determined to be guilty for fixing the market on television and computer monitor tubes. According to the EU Antitrust Commission, tubes were the essential part of TV screens and computer monitors before they were replaced by flat screens. The cathode ray tubes accounted for up to 70% of the cost of the screen itself. The companies fined were Philips, LG Electronics, Samsung, Technicolor, MTPD, and Toshiba. This is the biggest fine for a cartel ever by the EU. Fireman's Fund Insurance, a wholly owned subsidiary of German giant Allianz, saw their ratings downgraded one notch from A+ to A by Standard & Poor's. According to S&P, the company's experienced significantly worse operating performance and its overall financial profile has dropped. They've reported a combined ratio now of up to 123.5% compared with about 119% last year. And this is, of course, pre-Hurricane Sandy losses. Ford Motor Company is extending to Europe its investigation of fires in new cars equipped with one of its EcoBoost turbocharged engines. Ford said this morning it has reports of 7 fires in Europe on cars with the same 1.6-liter EcoBoost as its 2013 Fusion sedan and Escape crossover models that were recalled in the U.S. on Friday. That big storm that hit the Philippines yesterday, Super Typhoon Bopha, has left 280 people dead. And according to Applied Insurance Research, it was a unique storm. According to AIR, Bopha was the strongest typhoon on track through the southern Philippines since Super Typhoon Mike in November of 1990. Well, we mentioned this yesterday, and no sooner had we gone off the air than the insurance industry picked this up. This concerns the New York Yankees baseball player Alex Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, it was announced the other day, is going to undergo surgery on the labrum of his left hip. He's going to be out at least until late June, or if not July at the earliest. And according to a story running on the wires, If Mr. Rodriguez is unable to play in 2013 at all, or forced to retire because of the injury, it would not be a total loss for the Yankees. According to a baseball source with knowledge of his contract, the Yankees are insured for a good portion of the $114 million they still owe Rodriguez over the next 5 years. However, Rodriguez would have to be disabled for at least a full season before the team could begin to collect. That might have something to do with the manager's decisions as to whether or not they're going to play him or not if he doesn't seem to be doing well. Well, big news on the 787. We'll keep following that. That could be something. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.